Well, Lance, I'm so excited to tell you that next week I meet with my chamber, just the Health and Wellness Council of the chamber, and it's predominantly senior living people. And I will definitely share your book. I'm really excited about it
Oh,
because
thank you.
typically there's one or two people that share what book they're reading. And then the following week, I think it's the following week, is the Women in Business Council for the same chamber. Some of the same people, a number of different people, but I'll definitely again share the book with them because
Thank you.
again we're all looking for resources for what we can
Right.
share with our seniors.
Well, thank you, Roxy. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Isn't this great? We really are truly each of us meeting each other for the first time on screen. I know I threw some things into the chat when Lance was on Steve Gurney's show, Positive Aging Community. Does
Oh.
that sound pretty
It
close?
sounds right.
Steve Gurney, and, put some things in there and thought, these guys really had fun talking to each other. It's like, oh, do we have to go home? By the time you got to the end. And so, Roxy, this is great. You, even before we went live, you said that something about radio. And I know that's of interest to my husband. So, this is my chance to say, thank you, D. Scott Smith, motivational listener, who finds links for us, who makes sure that we go live right on time. Hey, there's another Steve in the house right now. It is Steve Berger. I just sent someone his way because of the things he's involved in. And he has been a faithful supporter through saying hi in the chat. And so, Steve, if you don't, well, I should ask you too. Roxy, Lance, have you met Steve Berger yet?
Have not.
I have
Hello,
not.
Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Perfect. Well, you two just met each other, and within moments, it was, oh, you have one, could I, I want to make sure that I just love it. I just love it. I haven't had a group gathering like this yet where I thought, oh dear, I brought all these people onto the screen and they all are just, well, I'm not really interested in what I'm doing. I'm just, earning money so I can goof around on the weekend. Nobody comes into this space of looking toward your longevity with intention and purpose, or caring about someone who used to take care of you
Right.
and whew, that has changed.
Mhm.
Or just, is it okay that I'm aging? I mean, it's kind of, I loved my grandparents, but it seems like every time I hit a commercial, it's like, do you really want to look like that? No, you should look, it's like change your look if you want to. But my goodness, don't feel bad that you have experienced life and given other people encouragement. And, so most people come into this with experiences that either made them pivot, or they tell me, I think I've always been this way. Even when I was a little kid, I just couldn't wait to be with someone who made such an impact in my life. And they happened to be, you know, 50, 60, 70 years older than me. And I always wanted to be, for other people, it's like, I never would have give me a whole long list and I would never have picked this one out. And now you can't stop me. So, Lance, I will not fake out the audience. I did hear some of your life story before. And I just want to say that Steve Okay, this is great. So, Steve, I always know he is in Atlanta and get a little bit of a weather report. So it's soggy there, super frosty this morning here, Steve. And Oh, wonderful. Yes, I did. Um, oh, great. He's going to reach out to both of you on LinkedIn. I think Lance will be back on the screen in a moment. So, Roxy,
Yes.
I was just thinking about fitness is absolutely every age. You wouldn't, it, a person with any amount of brain would not box a child in and not want them to see what their body can do. A person who is a child, you want, an older child, even if it's just, going up the stairs to the library or being with a friend in their house and, finding something that they want to build or dig or something in the backyard, you would want to be physically active. Is that your focus, is to not lose that desire to be physically active? Does it particularly point toward your longevity, your later life, your, I'm over 50 now? How do you describe what it is that you do with your health moves?
With what I do is I help people. I coach and train people that are 60 years old and up. I train everybody, but I focus on those that are 60 years old and up, that are either had been in sports enthusiasts, they played on a team, they were involved in sports in some way. And I help them understand that just because they're 60, it doesn't have to end. Quite often we get to 60 and we're still thinking that we're 35 or our body is 35, and we try to do things or maybe grab a pickup basketball game in the neighborhood or something. And typically, if we haven't taken care of ourselves, there's some aches and pains and possibly some injuries with that. So I help people understand that 60 is different, but it doesn't mean we have to stop or give up or even slow down. But we do need to help condition our body so that we can either start new activities or go back to activities, maintain activities and sports that we've always enjoyed. And I help them also take the mindset that it's just 60, it's just a number. We still have 20, 30, possibly 40 years left. We're at this point in our lives where typically we have a little bit more time than usual, that we can do things that we enjoy. We have that opportunity to choose those things. And if we can take care of our body, then we can go down that bucket list and do some skydiving, do whatever things that we want to do with a body that will support us. So we have to support our body so our body can support us to do things that we enjoy and continue to do things that we enjoy. And especially look at 85 and 90 as just that next step of continuing to do whatever we want to do.
A local gal right here in our county, I'm going to tell the story that I remember that was in the newspaper. And it seemed that she started doing some weights with the help of, a trained professional who was the daughter of a trained professional. And he was so proud of his daughter for helping this person to regain some health through weightlifting. And you can't just do a little part of your body and expect the rest of it to get benefit from it. So there was a good routine added for this person. And pretty soon, here they were at a senior living community, independent and otherwise. And here is a grandchild who's 9, and people came out of the building to watch this happen. She raced her grandchild, or was it a great grandchild? So this person is upper 80s, and nearly beat the granddaughter in 100 meters that had been mapped out by this trainer. And so it was like, wouldn't you love to compete for the Senior Olympics
Hmm.
and one for our state in the it might have actually been one of the slightly longer races. So maybe once around the track, something like that, and just went for it. And it started with an ache or pain, a surgery, an injury, maybe a condition, and just trying to regain. And now somebody's going to go compete at the national level.
Wow.
And I'm just going, I want to be her when I grow up. And it's like, wait a minute, why wait? Why not do this now? So I am grateful that we have a dog in an apartment and that I use the stairs up and down to go do that, because it's really easy for me to completely neglect from here down.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yay for
Moving.
you. And Lance,
Yeah.
thank you so much for just coming in with your friendliness. I wanted our audience to hear from you how you came to this point, because I know that I heard you talk about that. And Roxanne,
Yeah.
after Lance, maybe tracing back through, I mentioned radio, but isn't that isn't the whole picture at all with you. So Lance, let's go ahead and start listening to you.
Sure. Well, thank you, Christine, for the invitation, and to your husband and Roxy. Nice to meet you. Um, my whole career post high school was all geared and dedicated towards healthcare. Went and took some EMT courses after high school, then graduated on to do a paramedic course, and this was all in preparation for applying for medical school. And went into college and was on the medical school route. And all of a sudden, one afternoon, actually evening, my wife and I got a phone call that my father was being cared for by a home health care nurse at his place. We didn't even know to begin with that he had surgery. And she said, he just needs some extra help for the time being. Otherwise, we're going to have to recommend a facility, because none of us here or anybody watching or listening would be able to tend to the wound that my father had on their own. And he and my mom were divorced. Well, one of the things going against my father was, he was in the Marine Corps in the 60s. And the Marine Corps back then is entirely different than what it is currently today. And so we said, sure, yeah, he can come, move in with us. And, she thought it might be 6, 8 weeks. And well, it ended up being almost 2.5 years. And not that there was a problem with that, but we didn't know what we were getting into. And we would have still done the same thing regardless, because it's your father and you want to do what you can for him. But he literally needed 24-hour care. He ended up having, 7 major surgeries, and it got to the point there at the very end, he had to be in a medical facility due to the, IV therapy he was getting and the antibiotics he needed and things like that. But during that whole time, I'm pursuing medical school. My wife already graduated, started her career. We didn't have the ability or the flexibility to take time off work or quit school or anything like that, because we're in our early 20s. And what's always stood out from that experience, Christine, was during that entire time, we had one of the top healthcare systems in the entire world coming to our house 3 to 5 times a week to check on him, look at his wound and assess it and things. But nobody ever said to us, have you considered getting a caregiver or some respite, or handed us, a pamphlet or some materials and resources in our area? And so that kind of changed my whole perspective and really the trajectory of my life and my career. And so I had the light bulb idea, I thought, of the century one day. I told my wife, I said, we should look into starting a company where we send in people into the home to help people like us, not realizing, at the time, 20 years ago, that there's a whole industry out there. So we ended up starting our company a few years thereafter, and it's a home care company. And we just kind of keep that in our mind all the time when we're meeting with families, making sure they have the resources and the support that's available to them and to their loved ones.
And the newest, you received a message this
Oh,
morning?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. I've spent the last year and a half working on it. So we started All Home Care Matters. It'll be 4 years ago in May as a result of the pandemic, because what we would do is we'd go out to these communities, do caregiver support groups, educational talks, or just fun events, music and dancing and singing and, or playing bingo or, fun things. And when that was taken away because of COVID and our business is still operating because it's deemed essential, we wanted to find a way we could still kind of give back to our communities. And so I heard a podcast one night and went home and said we should start a podcast. And so we started All Home Care Matters after doing some, research on podcasts and things. And just this morning, coincidentally, my book that I've been working on for the last year and a half was notified that it's now published and live on the internet.
This morning.
This
That
morning,
was
yeah,
unplanned. This
totally
happens.
unplanned.
This happens. And having a podcast that something can just come
Yeah.
together, and you're like, and I was there for it. I
Yeah.
remember where I was when Lance Slatton's book went live. I was
Yeah.
right here. And I'll have this in replay on agingbetternetwork.com. You can just put in /live and be able to see this was the day. Okay, it is March 6th, 2024. Woo!
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
exciting.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. I hear this so often. The two things. I don't want anyone else to ever have to go through this
Right.
uninformed, not even knowing that they should ask a question like, can someone come in and do what I do? Can we hire someone to do? Is there a? And here you are saying you're in healthcare. You're being visited by premier top tier, and no one has offered that resource. And so you're like, well, I'm gonna. And yet there was this quiet little industry out there of
Right.
aged care, etc. The other thing, besides no one else is going to go through this, is I guess I'm going to have to create it because there doesn't seem to be anything available. And then you find out there are a lot of them, but each person that creates something, that puts something out into public, whether it's a book or courses, or they go and meet in a group of people. Roxy knows about this, going to a Chamber of Commerce. We went to a Chamber of Commerce evening, and at a really neat place, really cool vibe going on, a big limo bus, huge bus that's a limo inside was part of the evening. We got to see this, all of this. But where am I? I'm over in the corner listening to someone who goes, and not only am I taking care of that loved one, but now I'm having to go over to so-and-so's house and make sure about this. And and this lady is telling me, I follow someone on TikTok, and she couldn't remember the name. So I know where she works. I know who she is. I'll go back to her and go, okay, show me the TikTok. And I've got to meet this person who gets on TikTok and has a friend who's a fairly good actress act out the part of a person with dementia, different forms. It's going to play out different ways. And they approach each other the wrong way. This person is agitated. This person is despondent. I'm approaching them the wrong way. And it's this little quick TikTok thing. Now I'm approaching them the right way for, their frontotemporal, their Alzheimer's. And she goes, I just live by that. I mean, it's so quick and short. And I think, yes, you get me. I'm going to try that. And I'm just like, everywhere you go, somebody is going, I need that for my friend. Oh my goodness, what if I need that? I need 2 of those. So Lance, you've just sold some books today, or later this week, later this month when she goes there. So thank you so much for
Yeah, thank you.
writing that and for doing your podcast and for creating another resource so that people can start saying, you know what? It's kind of a big deal now
Right. It's a team
about
effort. Yeah.
challenges or
Oh,
just not feeling disregarded, or
Right.
like Roxy was talking about, thinking of yourself. Well, I'm too old for that. And it's like, really? Are you? Or is that just, society that's kind of pushed you feel like you're pushed into this category? And I'm like, climb out of the cookie cutter.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
have to be this shaped. So Roxy, I was asking Lance to kind of draw us a map of where he's come from. And for you, there was something that you and your husband have been involved in the past, and maybe you still are. So go ahead.
we were managing senior living communities, independent senior living communities. That was just a short stint. My experience with fitness and nutrition actually goes back to early childhood, always competing in different sports. My family was always involved in sports, cousins, uncles, aunts, everyone. So I was a sports minded person growing up. And then as I became older, I became a personal trainer. Just after my kids were born, I have 2 children. And when they were toddlers, I became a personal trainer. And as they grew up, then I started coaching the sports teams that they were involved in. So I was personal training and coaching. And then over time, I just added some more certifications. And most recently, about 5 years ago, so I became a personal trainer 29 years ago. Added Pilates, silver sneakers, a number of other certifications. Senior fitness specialist is my most recent one. And before that, about 5 years ago, I became a national board certified health coach. And that's just helped me bring everything under the health umbrella into one place so that I can help people from nutrition, from mindset, stress management, time management, of course, fitness, all types of different fitness. And I chose a few years ago to really focus on seniors, having the experience of running some of the senior living communities that also helped. But then really helping people there's something about turning 60. There's something about getting close to that retirement age that we get a different mindset. And we almost look at, as it used to be, well, I'm 65, I'm retired, I'm just going to sit here and wait. Yeah. But now, things are changing. Our world is changing. And we really do want to capture those last 30, 40 years with a lot of activities of traveling, of getting out and doing hiking, and maybe even picking up new sports. But as I had said earlier, we have to support our body in order to do that and to do those things without aches and pains, and definitely without injuries. So that's where I help people. We get together and we set some goals together, create action steps, and create programs, fitness and or nutrition. And I coach them and train them to help them reach those goals as they relate to fitness and nutrition, and or nutrition. And again, that can be in the time management segment, that can be in stress management, it can be in physical fitness, mental fitness, everything under that health umbrella, to help them really enjoy and do what I frame as a vibrant lifestyle, not just to live a vibrant lifestyle, to enjoy it and to keep growing, keep that mindset growing and try new activities, so that as we're growing and experiencing new things, we're able to do that in a safe way.
Oh.
So
Are you
important.
familiar with Isabel Alexander?
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is she I think there's one that's not the right name. Think of the 105-year-old who she won the race. She won I think it was a 100-meter race. But she didn't start running until she was, I think, 80 or 90. And then there's another one that was 101 and competed, I believe, in gymnastics.
Oh,
so it can be done. I plan on getting to 105. I'm not stopping at 105, but I'm definitely going there. I'm going to get there. Nothing's going to stop me.
Right. You've got your goal for now. And if you need to adjust that farther out, you will, because you've you've got the skills, you've got the certification, you're working with other people, and of course, it's better for business if you're actually doing what you're training others. And I just love it. I mean, stress management, yes, that's a body thing. And also just resilient relationships. That makes a difference. That makes a difference in your 80s when you have this wonderful habit of going and being with other people. You're either stuffing backpacks for the local school to make sure that all kids have their school supplies, or you're getting together at the newest restaurant, within a parameter of X miles or something, to try it out. And y'all are working on, making sure that you've given them a like and a, comment, whatever it is that you're doing. That's something that you need a strong core for. You need to make sure that you're driving safely. I don't know. I just think of everything, if you have a stiff neck, you can't look around as well, and you wouldn't be able to actually get there. So it's like, find out from Roxy, is this something that I need to go to professional for? Or is there something I can be doing to see if I can loosen this up? Whatever it is, they want to do a stage production. It's like, I'm trying out for community theater, and I want to make sure that, I don't just get up there and go, oh, I don't have the energy for this. I thought my enthusiasm was good, but energy. So the Isabel Alexander that I was referring to, I just see that as a compliment, because she works with people. I think I've got this right. Boy, if I'm wrong, it's somebody else who's been on aspects of aging. I believe it's the encore, encore meaning more.
Yeah.
Their encore business and all this. And so she's been on this show in a wonderful conversation with Janice Shokrian, who understands producing and business, and Jody K. Benusa, who helps people who are like, help, I'm aging. What do I, what are the things I ought to know about? Do I need to be doing something with my finances, my father-in-law, my funeral, my fun, or something, what is it that, help, I don't want to do this wrong. I might be aging for a while and I want to do it right. So I might do an intro there. I think you would just enjoy each other as people. I think just listening to you today, I'm just like, oh, that reminds me of Isabel. So, gracious.
It's just a message of getting it out there that there is so much fun to be had. We've got so much time and so much fun. And I was very blessed to have great inspiration from my relatives. My dad is 91 and he still has been working out since he was 40 every single morning except Sundays, and is very active and very involved. They didn't retire till they were 87. They're just very vibrant, and they're 91. Those are my parents. And my grandparents also went on to continue to work full-time until they were almost 90 and be involved in their church, be involved in the community. So I was blessed to have that inspiration.
Oh my goodness. And other people go at it because they're just like, oh my goodness, the comorbidities, and I'm not talking about a horrific disease, just a person who says, I just want to retire so I can sit and do nothing and not feel guilty. And then it's a self-neglect. It seems like fun, but you really can't be on vacation forever if you've still got a mind and a body that's hungry to be challenged. And what a great way to be challenged, to just know, wow, I'm fit now, but my stress levels are really high. And what is it that I could be, maybe veering away from situations that drain my energy or put me in the hot seat again and again. It's just like, wow, I don't just have to let other people should all over me. At your age, you should be, because you're going to get conflicting information. At your age, you should be saving your money so your children will have a good inheritance and think good of you. And someone else, at your age, you should be spending every last cent to make sure your last check bounces or whatever, and you're just like, I can't chase back and forth between the people who want to tell me what to do and then back off and let me take the consequences on my own. Oh my
Well, I
goodness.
think it's our responsibility for the future generations to see us being active into our 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, so that they also can carry that torch to the following generation after that. Just Lance, just like your book,
Yeah.
sharing that information so that we all know that there are resources that are available to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. I'm so enjoying this. We are not at the end of our time. I'm thinking that my producer is going to go, what? Is she already finishing? No, but I just want to make sure that all of the information that you want to get out has a chance to be on our screen again, because honestly, when I send people to agingbetternetwork.com and I suggest that they look at the live stream videos, I say, click around, just click in the middle of any of them to get an idea. Go down 2 or 3 and just click in the middle. So we are literally in the middle. Someone in the future is going to click on this and they're going to go, oh, great, that book came out in 2024. That's not too long ago. This is breaking news. Or I'm in my 60s. I have been self-talking in the morning of just, I just really need to take it easy again today. And it's like, well, yes, maybe you do. And maybe that lack of energy that you're feeling is because you haven't taken into account that your body is going to need a better plan for resilience or coming down off of big endeavors, and you're going to need Roxy. So Roxy, let's start with you. If you would go ahead and just let the audience know how they can get a hold of you.
All right. Simply go to my website, which is healthymovesforyou.com, all spelled out, no numbers. And there you'll find some different opportunities for both fitness and nutrition. The fitness and nutrition, first of all, in coaching, I cover, as I had mentioned earlier, cover everything under the coaching umbrella, under the health umbrella with my coaching. There's also personal training that's available. All of my services are available online and in person. And the personal training is available both individual and as a group. And I also offer a membership, and that membership is for a chair and standing class. It's a whole lot of fun. I taught it this morning. Again, that's both in person and online. It's called Retro Moves, Roxy's Retro Moves. And it's as I said, chair and standing class. We're moving and grooving to the sounds of the 70s, having a ball. Typically, we end up singing some of the songs. I have 2 requirements, and that's all they have to do is move. They don't have to follow what I'm doing. If they don't like the moves that I'm doing, they don't have to do them, as long as they keep moving. And then the other requirement is that they either laugh or smile, because when you listen to the 70s and 80s, it brings back memories of something that's definitely going to make us laugh or smile. And we end up having just a great time. There's a stretch at the end, so we cover all body parts. Again, chair and standing, having a ball, moving and grooving to the sounds of the 70s. And it's fun. And that, again, is a membership where you get 4 videos a month, ongoing until you decide that you've had enough. But you build up that library. Within that membership, you also have access then to a library that is full of videos, articles, infographics, all types of resources that are there at your fingertips as part of that membership. And that's ongoing and growing as time goes on.
You are more than just certified. I mean, you've just got, wow. Who coached you on this? Is this just, how did you come up with all of that?
Well, I've been doing this for 29 years.
Okay.
And I love what I do. And it's so important for me to get the message out, to keep moving, We have so much that we can experience. There's so many things that we can try that we've never tried before, or get better at the things that we know we can do, and just have fun, enjoy it, show that our children and our grandchildren can do the same thing and enjoy life all the way to the fullest. Just enjoy a vibrant lifestyle with healthy foods, healthy choices, healthy moves for you.
Oh, I am so glad I asked about all that. So, signing up, do I see you just like on the screen right now, except you've got full body in the picture and I'm doing it the same time that you're doing it. Can I say Jack LaLanne? That may mean nothing to Lance Slatton. He
No,
may
I
need
know.
to.
I know who
Oh,
Jack is.
okay. But I do remember that black and white on the TV and watching Jack LaLanne early in the morning. It was probably like 6 a.m. having cereal, and there's only a few channels. And so, which, simpler life. So you watched what was there. But
Mhm.
is that what I can expect with a membership?
Well, let's not forget Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Jane, I didn't ever see. Richard Simmons, oh my goodness, he was all over the place. If he wasn't on a talk show, he was on a whatever, original reality shows before they called them that or
Yeah.
something. Oh my goodness.
But you are
Yeah.
exactly right. You see me on the screen and you just follow the moves that I'm doing. I do the explanation. I show different ways to do that to accommodate for limitations or aches and pains, challenging difficulties so that they have a range of difficulty that they can exercise at according to where their body is at that time.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we are not done, but I'm really glad that we started now talking about what it is that you offer. I never wanted to have a show that simply said, man, there are some issues. Yes, let's complain about it until our time is up. Well, thank you for complaining, and we'll see you again next week for more complaints from other people who ought to be doing something about them. This is always a place for people to say, I offer you the support that you maybe didn't even know that you needed. And there is a caregiving person who is not 60 yet who would really benefit having you on the screen along with their loved one that they watch over and assist, who's like, you know what? I need to be healthy too, because that's what I did. I didn't have anyone on a screen, rats. But last decade, when I was in and out of those homes, and I was tasked by, for example, I would escort to a physical or occupational or speech therapy appointment. And then I was tasked with imitating that back at home for the next number of days till the next appointment. And maybe my client wasn't in the mood, but I would say, I need this. I mean, look at me. I need all the help I can get. Can you help me to do? I don't remember, what did they say about, the arm and, and get them going. Oh my goodness. If we had had Roxy, it would be, I can see some of them going, get that cute gal on the screen. I want to do that stuff with that cute gal Roxy. And I would just be like, my job just got easier. And I am increasing my health span just by viewing you. So see, now I'm getting the things I wished I'd had 10 years ago now. Well,
Never too late.
when I started. Say again.
It's never too late.
It isn't. It's
Yeah.
never too late.
Mm-mm.
Lance, all that you do, podcast, book, how does someone just got hit with it, just like you did.
Mhm.
Here you are, a perfectly reasonable, intelligent person, and you're going, I don't, how do I, What's the best way? I don't want to make things worse. Oh my goodness. I feel like things are kind of in crisis right now. What are they going to find out from you? And you said you and your wife are doing this together, or did I
Yeah,
hear that right?
we started it's a family business. It's a family business. But the show, the columns I write for, and the book, that's something I did on my own.
Wow. So the show is a podcast. Is it a video podcast?
Yeah, so All Home Care Matters. We actually started it off with the idea we'll just do the audio, and then I started looking at it, and I thought, we should also do the video because when we started this, mind you, at least here in Michigan, where we're based out of, our governor said we're only going to be shut down for 2 weeks until they get it figured out, and then we'll be back to normal. Right? This is at the very, very beginning stages of
I
COVID.
know.
So I said, well, let's also video it. Also, since we're going to be saying the same information, might as well video it at the same time. Well, the 2 weeks for us turned into almost 3 years. So we really amped up our resources and time devoted to it. So it's a video and it's a podcast. So the audio goes out to all the podcast platforms, and then the video is on YouTube, Instagram, and our website. Um, and we cover things from, talks about specific issues that caregivers face, but we also like to have thought leaders, influencers, and, experts, whether they're presidents of medical schools or, chief operating officers for health insurance companies, talking to families, but also talking to professionals too about different resources and ways of doing things in the, senior care and healthcare space.
Wow. Now, I would rather that people finish being on this live stream feeling like that was fun. Maybe we can do that again sometime. So if I am pushing you into a corner, remember, you just say, pass, make it like a game show,
Sure.
ask something else. So my thought this moment, which I mean, I don't rehearse before I come on. Sometimes I have a thought that I go with or I don't. But my thought is, have you had someone recently that you thought, oh, this person's a treasure trove, or they were so much fun, treasure trove of information, or they brought in a gap that maybe you hadn't recognized before, a gap in information, a gap in what a person I don't know. Have you had a
Yeah.
guest recently that you would recommend that I get a hold of? Because my groups are so diverse. It can be a
Right.
person who says, I have felt lonely. And and has this whole life coming up to this moment and then realizes, wow, I've never felt lonely before. Maybe bored, maybe overworked, but lonely. And it's from that to a person who's got 7 things going on and, click here, buy this,
Right.
you have a free support group, you got, and so is there someone that comes to mind after I've been jabbering?
Yeah, no, I know where I get your question, and just off the top of my head, I mean, I always tell people when they say, because we have almost 300 episodes now, we're in over 23 million views. So like, it's like I have 3 children. It's hard to pick who's your favorite. I just say they all are, and they are, but I say
Yeah.
that in jest. But I would say, one person that always comes to top of mind, because we also we're producing a show with her now, is Lori LeBay. And I'm sure anybody watching or listening to this, and you may be, Christine, already aware of her. I have the most admiration and just unending respect for her, because she does it all for the right reasons. Not that other people don't, not that other people have ulterior motives, but she's been in this space long before there was anything like, social media, doing it before it was ever a thing. And I have the most admiration for her and other people too. So I want to be careful, but we also, have a mutual respect for each other as well.
Yeah.
And I would say Lori, because I mean, there is not much she has not seen, heard, or done in the space of caregiving as it relates to senior care. And I would say she would be a phenomenal person.
Yes, agreed. And I thought, yeah, I probably am backing him into a corner because, I consider my show to bridge a gap, but I think of it as a lower footbridge, and that other people with, a number of people that are relying upon them, that are, that are pointing people there. I think what I was asking is, is there somebody that maybe you had on for the first time and they haven't had anyone else ask them to be on any shows, and it's just like, they would be safe with
Yeah.
Christine. They would
Yeah.
enjoy that. Lori LeBay has been on
Okay.
Aspects of Aging a few times, but
Okay.
I just sent her a message because her tagline, I don't know, is Alzheimer's speaks.
Yeah.
So Alzheimer's with an apostrophe speaks. And I saw those two words together in, there was a news report, ABC or something like that, about a gentleman, Simon, who has received the diagnosis of dementia. And I watched that news report, in replay, and he said, "Thank goodness I have my creative side." So I sat down and wrote a one-man play, and I will continue to perform it. Well, a person who has been on my show one time, she brings together performers who, maybe have made up a song about caregiving, and they're really popular, well known for all their other songs, but they just, or the passing of a loved one, and
Sure.
the years of caring for them and saying goodbye, whatever it is, and she brings them together onto a stage. And so she's got so I was just like, wait a minute, Alzheimer's Speaks is in this link.
Yeah.
And so I send this message to Lori going, I jumped. I saw your title in this thing. And then I looked back and I was like, wait a minute. Mindy McClintock? Oh, if only I could
Sounds
get
right.
all these things right. So it sounds right. I'm
It
like, wait
sounds
a
right.
minute.
Yeah.
You were on my same show together. I think they met each other there, and it's like, are you guys in cahoots now? Have you got like a thing going on? But just, and I'm just excited. I'm excited when I find a person who, like me, like you, like Roxy, is going, people need this. I'll simply say a gentleman in the UK was fishing around for something to listen to because he's been in the radio biz, and he just wanted to listen to something that was a radio show on dementia, and found nothing like that in the UK. So he reached farther, found Lori LeBay, was very inspired. So he got back into the radio biz, brings people on
Is that Pete
to
Hill?
talk about,
Is that Pete Hill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, Lori LeBay. So, and I've got her Betty the Bald Chicken book.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but yes, if secretly on the side you think of someone, it's like, maybe they would like, because both of you're accustomed to having a camera in your face, at least to some degree, because you're already doing that. You know that people are going to see you in replay or live. But for some people, they're just doing amazing things. And this whole stuff is just horrifying. And a few of those people have said, fine, I will come in
Yeah.
on your show, but I tell you, this is not something comfortable, but you're supposed to do some things, step out of your comfort zone. So if you find
Yeah.
someone who are just like, you know what, if they know it's just a low footbridge over a gap, and I think probably my gap that I saw would best be described as giving the Lances and the Roxys and the Isabels and the Laura LeBays an opportunity to meet one more person that speaks their language or at least is singing harmony to the same song,
Absolutely.
and understands what they're saying or would be benefited for having met them. That's my little bridge, is
Sure.
like, I wished I had met even other caregivers, hired caregivers who could go, let me tell you what really works. You want to make sure that you don't eat chocolate all night on a 12-hour shift. You need protein, or you're going to be so buzzy by the morning that it's dangerous for you to drive home. And make sure you eat protein before you drive home after your 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift, staying awake, staying on duty. And, just I would have enjoyed getting a little bit of wisdom from others. Gosh,
Absolutely.
I think I just talked for like 12 minutes. Oh my goodness. Roxy, what would you like to say about anything that has come across your mind today?
If you're a senior, but a senior that's 80 or 90 years old, I'm thinking, you have grown children, you have senior children. And when and this plays a little bit into what you offer as well, Lance, the children caregivers of our parents, they also need to be in shape, because when you think about the activities that you know so very well that we need to do to take care of our parents, or it could be an aunt or uncle or a loved one, anyone that's in their 80s or 90s that we're responsible for, we need to make sure that we can do that, so that when they see us as a responsible caregiver, in that sense, someone that they can depend on, that's agile and can do the things that they need to do to provide that caregiving. Those are also the folks that I work with. So they don't have to be sports enthusiasts, but we want to make sure that both the parents, the older parents, see the younger kids that are older, that are seniors, as reliable. And we also want to let our children then, the 40s, 30s, and 40s, see us doing that. So it's a whole family package when it comes right down to it, of making sure that we are responsible and able to take care of each other. And all that needs is a little bit of work. It doesn't take a lot, but it's also important to make sure that you're working with a professional who can give you that proper and very safe guidance when it comes to both nutrition and fitness.
Good. Thank you so much for having empathy for the novice, as well as that energy for the elite athletes. I really appreciate that you've, spanning the generations. A person could say, wait a minute, I could start something new for my whatever that word is, progeny. Anyway, for my kids and grandkids, is maybe in the past it was just, if it hurts, don't move. And to have correct training on, this shouldn't hurt, but this is a different way of approaching it, so that you don't have, oh my goodness, just core strength. It isn't it just core strength, so that the rest of you isn't going, ow, 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 ow. Just that. And there's so much more. Go to Roxy, not me. Lance, you get to finish us out before the top of the hour.
All right. Well, thank you again, Christine, and to your husband. And Roxy, it was great to meet you as well. I would just kind of piggyback a little bit on what Roxy's saying. For caregivers, regardless of their age and what they're going through, they first need to take care of their own health and their own needs, because otherwise they're not going to be able to be there for their loved one. But I would also want them to know they are not alone. There's a whole worldwide community out there, whether it be virtually or even locally with local caregiver support groups or your local area agency on aging or your senior center. Find the help that fits your situation because it is out there. You're not alone, because that feeling of isolation can lead into depression, the neglect of your own needs and your own health and junk food and all kinds of bad habits that become a very comforting but very slippery slope that could lead to, further complications for your own well-being and health down the road. And you need to be there for your loved one. So take care of yourself first so that you can take care of your loved one, and just knowing that you're not alone and that there is plenty of resources and support out there for you. Just got to look for it.
Oh, Lance and Roxy, thank you. Thanks for being with me today. I'm ready. I'm going to a birthday party. It's in Canada. I'm in Oregon, so I'm going to a birthday party at 10:30. And I don't really know what that means, but she does her own live video and she calls it Wonder Woman Wednesday. So I wonder what women are going to show up. I saw that there was 30 that are planning to jump in and out. So I'm just going to wave goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us what we need. I really appreciate that, and for the generations to come. Bye-bye, folks. Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you, Christine.
Absolutely.